Who are we to each other, this so-called new world and this so-called old world? And what became of us here, as we were becoming this thing? How much did we lose? How much we were obliged to set aside? How much of you did we lose to turn into us? Who can we possibly be to each other now? Nobody needs to know what to do. We do need to know how we came by these things that we think are either inevitable or naturally occurring or unavoidable. Let's credit ourselves with the real possibility that we had some discernment once upon a time, and that we employed it from time to time. Because here's the confoundment. If we're reasonably intelligent people sometimes, if we're not acting on pure self-interest all the time, if we have a historical alertness or awareness sometimes, how did it ever come to be then that the things we know that are bordering on satanic presences among us were once deemed to be a good idea? This is a stilling thing, not a compelling thing. This is an interruption in normally scheduled programming. This is a kind of rupture in the ease machine. We will not imitate or enact. We will take the earth in our hands and see if we can pray it in the direction of some kind of crucible or container. I mean, this is not a process and it's not a symbol. This is actually what we're going to do. To be less and less a stranger to the place that you call home. Something came to me and it said, "Say me now." And it was apparently a non sequitur. But I looked up from what I was doing, which was probably death related at the time. And I said, "Do you ever think of us? And who's the you I'm addressing? And who's this us? And is it not, at least linguistically, a continuum? So how can you possibly talk about us and you and so on?" But I didn't clarify. I waited. And sometimes not saying anything can be its own eloquence. So I waited until it finally became clear that they couldn't take it any further. And I said, let me answer from your silence. Almost never, isn't it true? Aside from the odd news report, you don't think of us. You don't wonder what became of you when we turned into us, do you? No. Now ask me. And nobody would. I said, no, come on. It's really important that you ask me if we ever think of you. And somebody finally did, God bless them. And I said, every day. Anybody who looks like me in North America wakes up every day, I mean every day, in the absence of what we lost by coming. And who is this ground under your feet to you? Not what is it, who is it? All of this is unavailable to us as a consequence of us coming here for a better life. And the indigenous people wake up the same morning that we do, look out the same window, and they do so in the presence of everything they lost because we came. And that's what you did before you turned into us. You could properly so divide this English word in two. Neverland. Not only Neverland, Neverland. Neverland is both a descriptor and a kind of imperative. It's the sad imperative of homeless people. to Neverland and mistake that for freedom.